Hi, I'm Rebecca Penner, and I'm going to be beginning my speech with a reading from Luke chapter 4, verses 16 to 21. Jesus went to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and on the Sabbath day he went into the synagogue, as was his custom. He stood up to read, and on the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was handed to him. Unrolling it, he found the place where it is written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free and to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendants, and sat down. The eyes of everyone in the synagogue were fastened on him, and he began by saying, "Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." Luke 4 is an important passage in my life because of how powerfully it proclaims the reign of God. You know, when we look at the world all around us, sometimes we see things that we know just aren't right. I was a Bible instructor at camp for years, and you ask kids what they see in the world that isn't right, and they can easily tell you that there's war and violence and suffering and death. Before Jesus' earthly ministry, it was thought that the coming Messiah would fully usher in the reign of God all at once, that all violence and suffering and death would immediately come to an end, to be replaced by peace, healing, and redemption. But the thing is, it didn't quite work that way. Jesus did establish God's kingdom here on earth through his life, ministry, death, and resurrection. However, we live in an in-between time where the kingdom is here, but it's not here fully yet, and it will not be established in fullness until Christ comes again. And so what type of kingdom is this? Jesus is outlining this in his inaugural sermon. Jesus came to bring wholeness to the world. His ministry was not just spiritual, because as outlined here, Jesus shows concern for ministry of healing and of caring for the poor and the oppressed. But at the same time, Jesus' ministry is not just about physical ramifications, but it's also about reconciliation between humankind and God. In this in-between time, the church is called to be a sign of God's kingdom. We are called to partner alongside God as partners in building this kingdom. CMU has been a place which nurtures students as they learn what it means to participate in God's kingdom work here on earth. I was introduced to this way of thinking and living through the out-of-town program. Energized by the writings of Shane Claiborne, my site had the opportunity to live out a kingdom ethic both within our community and outside in the broader world. And when I continued here as a student at CMU, I have learned to think more academically about kingdom theology. However, my education has extended beyond the walls of the classroom. Last summer, for instance, I had the opportunity to work at a church as a practicum placement that was becoming increasingly intentional about reaching out to the community around it through a gardening program and summer bonfire nights. Today, as I stand ready to graduate, I'm incredibly grateful for my years in such a nurturing and formational environment that has taught me what it means to be a disciple and to look for where I can participate in God's kingdom work in the world around me. And as I stand ready to graduate, even though I don't fully know what the future holds, I know that CMU has empowered me to follow God wherever God leads. Thank you.